Hey guys, got a kind of a funny video for you today. So I was thinking about this, and I've noticed that I've done this a lot in life, and probably you guys have as well. So oftentimes you're kind of trying to work on something, and you kind of stop because you're like, oh man, the room is messy. I gotta clean it up. Or before you start work, you want to clean the room, right? And the reason why you want to do that is because your brain is everywhere. Or another thing is you're procrastinating. So that's what this video is about. It's about being a productive procrastinator. So basically, when you are catching yourself in the act of procrastination, there are certain tasks that you can do that are actually productive and will still help you get forward with the day, right? And like I just said in the beginning, the first one is cleaning. So that is a thing that you can do, for your business or just for yourself. Like before you begin your work or your work day, it's actually a good thing to clean your environment because that means that there's less distractions in the way. And when you operate in a clean environment, actually your mind is better focused on your work. And also, you're kind of accomplishing a task that you need to do anyways. And kind of a caveat to this video too, I don't encourage procrastination because it's something that I struggle with my whole life. And also, I don't think it's good for anyone to really do. But that being said, sometimes as a human, it's very difficult to just work straight through and get everything done and be a robot, even though that's sometimes you're like, oh, I want to be a robot, that's my goal, to just get a bunch of stuff done. But sometimes you just can't do it. So I kind of have like a short list of things that I've thought of for procrastinating, but at the same time being productive. The second one on the list is planning. And planning is actually pretty important as well. So that includes stuff like, planning out your day, like your schedule, your calendar. Also, it's like strategizing, like for instance, if you're running your clothing brand, you could be like, okay, what do I want to release this month? What do I want to plan on for next month? Like thinking about the season, stuff like that. So it's about thinking ahead. And then I think it's really a smart idea to also, it's called Plan Tomorrow Today, PTT. So you basically, at the end of the day, you write down, or at the beginning of the day, you write down what your plan is for the day, and then you can accomplish those goals. And you should be doing that daily, and also having kind of like a general, like a month plan or a yearly plan, like what's the big goals that you're trying to accomplish. So that's the second one, planning. The third one is reading. And I've kind of gotten to do this more and more actually this year. I've been reading more books. And I mean, last year I read a lot of books, but this one is kind of fun because you are getting smarter. And when you're smarter and more intelligent, you will obviously grow your business and you'll make more money and you will have more interesting conversations and more ideas too. So like with reading, just like in general, it just goes with learning as well, listening to audiobooks, watching YouTube videos, all that kind of stuff. That's another way you could procrastinate and actually when you do that, you also, like I said, you're getting smarter. So you will be a better business operator and you'll get more ideas and stuff like that. A lot of my biggest ideas that I've gotten are just from listening to like a 15-minute YouTube video. And then when you implement those ideas later on in the future, you'll be really glad that you procrastinated. The fourth thing I want to talk about is going on a walk. So I often like to do this when I kind of have like brain fog or my brain's kind of hurting just from working too much on the computer or from thinking about things. I go on like a 20-minute walk around the block. And the thing that's interesting is that, first of all, you get like some mild exercise, so blood's pumping through you. But for me personally, I actually get a lot of ideas about what products to make next. It sounds weird, but that's just how my brain works. I think what happens is I have a lot of concepts and information like floating around and lodged in my brain, and when I can kind of get away from everything, it kind of frees it up and things begin to formulate in my brain. Or I often like look at one thing outside or like just an object, and I just get like an idea built up. Like for instance, I made a design that's being made right now. It's like the surveillance state hoodie, right? And that design was actually, it's funny, I was on a walk and I saw someone wearing a college hoodie and it said like whatever university, and then it said state. And I was like, oh, that's funny. Like, how can I make that into an idea? And that's how it like got developed. And that was from going on a walk. So your ideas obviously become profitable, and you can, bring them to life. So when you go on a walk, it's kind of interesting. Stuff like that can happen. And, you're kind of refreshing yourself. So when you get back after, 20 minutes or 15 minutes, half an hour, you're actually able to work better on the computer and on your brand and business. And kind of related to that, in a sense, the sixth point is collecting data. So you can collect data through a walk by looking at stuff. And but what I really mean by this is like when you collect data, you're collecting reference images. You're like surfing the web for ideas. You're going on pages to look for like inspiration and clothing and design, stuff like that. And that can really get your creative juices flowing in your brain so that you can make really killer designs that people love and that you will obviously make clothing from and profit from. So that's actually it's a pretty fun one too. I usually do this one in the morning, kind of to warm up my day, and to, because I post a lot on Instagram daily. I post stuff I find, and honestly, some of that stuff is very difficult to find. It takes a while, but it's kind of fun because it's like a treasure hunt. Sometimes I'm like literally doing data collection for like a whole hour in the day, which is quite a bit actually. But through that, I get ideas for t-shirts, and also I like to share inspiration for other people. And at the same time, it grows the social media, like for instance, the Pinterest page and the Instagram page. So it's just more content, right? And then let's see, we are on point 6 or 7, something like that. Organizing. So this one is probably one of my favorites because I'm just naturally, I like to organize things. And as you can tell, this place is pretty dialed in. But I've mentioned this before. What happens in life, and this is just a force that you cannot fight, no matter, it's just a law. It's called entropy. So things that are in order descend into chaos. So every single day, whatever you're doing, stuff is degrading and it's descending into chaos. And usually in your work environment or on your computer, in your head, stuff is getting jumbled up, it's getting messy, and it's time to clean it up, right? This is almost related to cleaning in a way. But I like to do this. For instance, I have my Google Drive. I constantly need to have those files organized. I have like my desktop files constantly need to be organized in a certain way, because when you are working on projects, you don't want to be tripping over yourself trying to find stuff. And if stuff's not organized, then you're basically wasting time and you're not being productive during that time. And then a big one, especially if you house inventory and you are fulfilling orders, you have to make sure that everything's labeled and organized so you can quickly find an item, retrieve it, and ship it out. So organizing is a great way to procrastinate but still be productive. And then the final one I got on my list that I find myself doing is emails and / DMs. So these things are critical, but they're not necessarily so critical that you need to like take out a lot of time in your day to do them. That's why I put them on the list as like a procrastination thing. So with email, you can be going through your inbox, cleaning stuff up, unsubscribing from emails, because too much stuff that's coming into your mailbox, and then you're looking at it, you're just wasting a lot of time going through that. Like for instance, I have my business email is pretty pretty clean and pretty solid. Like I don't have any junk mail or anything going through because I keep it pretty tight, and I'm only getting relevant email every day that I can scan through. And when I'm feeling kind of like in a procrastination mood, that's what I like to do. I like to check my email and respond to relevant ones, and also scrolling through the DMs and to see like if I need to respond to anyone or if they have a problem with an order. That's important. So yeah, that's basically a list of 7 things that I've thought of that I kind of do on a daily basis. Probably everyone does these things at some point when they're operating their business and building their brand. But here is kind of the big point of like being a productive procrastinator. So all of these tasks are like managerial tasks. They have to be accomplished, but they're not mission critical necessarily. So what I mean by that is if you don't get them done right away, your business is not going to fail, But at some point they do have to be done, and usually they have to be done on a daily basis or a weekly basis. So it's better to do those things if you're feeling like you're procrastinating, because kind of a tragedy with procrastination is that you're like, okay, I'm gonna have a productive day, I'm gonna start my brand, I'm gonna work on building the brand, I'm gonna work on getting more sales, but then you find yourself procrastinating. And I know this is what people do. Like, let's be honest, the biggest form of procrastination for us in our generation is we have our phone and we're just mindlessly scrolling through it, right? We're like not accomplishing anything in the day. And that's something I I constantly think about this, like every single day. I think, man, I don't want to be age 40 or whatever and look back at my life and be like, oh my gosh, I wasted so much time in my life and I didn't do anything, right? So that's just like something for you to think about. And I hope that kind of like really like hits you hard, because I don't want you guys to be 40 or whatever and be like, oh man, I did not do anything. And that's like depressing, So another thing is like these tasks, they're not like really income generating as well. I mentioned this in an earlier video about the like mission critical tasks that you really got to focus on that are producing income. So those are like the ones you got to focus on, and that you got, spend like 80% of your day doing that. And these sorts of tasks that I described, those are the tasks that you can spend like 10 to 20% of your day doing. It's stuff that has to be done, but you can do it during breaks or during your times of procrastination, right? So that way, the entire day will actually be productive, believe it or not. So those are just some thoughts I've had. And usually what happens is like throughout the week, I'm doing stuff and I make observations about my day and like my thought process and my workflow. And that's why I'm making this video right now, because it's literally just things that I've noticed myself doing. And I hope that you guys just got value out of this video, and let me know down in the comments below if there's other ways that you can be a productive procrastinator. And one last thing, like I said before, I'm not encouraging you to be a procrastinator. Like, as much as you can, make sure that you're doing the income generating, mission critical, like most important stuff in your business and in your brand. Like, focus on that. But also you can do these tasks and pad them in throughout the day, right? So for instance, for 1 hour, you work on like mission critical stuff. Then for 20 minutes, you work on these productive procrastination tactics and protocols, right? So that's what I mean by this, and that's kind of the point of this video. But anyways, I hope you guys got value out of it, and I will see you again. Have a great one.